Tuesday, January 25th. It is the right day. Yesterday, I thought it was the 25th. I got all thrown off. And it is chilly up here. So I do have my scarf on. I'm all bundled up. It looks like this outside. And we actually have snow going on right at the moment. So let me get the link tweeted out. We are going to talk about the craziness. SPY to 364.68. Ah! Yeah, we had a little mini flash crasheroo, right? And so we were talking about it. If you guys want to learn more about the dark pools, come on over to thedarkpools.com. Yeah, there's no real market makers anymore. So if there was a glitch in computers, remember there was something about, there was a guy in London and he crashed the system based on, he wrote an algorithm or he turned off the algorithm, he hacked something and turned off everything, and there was the flash crash. I don't know, was that in the 80s? I don't remember. If you know the name of it, put it in the chat. So basically, that is what happened today. Let's head over here, get the chat up and going. So basically, there's no market makers, right? And it's kind of hard to see on the stream, but you can see that it goes all the way down here. 364.68. That's where it randomly went to. Somebody just had an order to buy. And that's where it was at that point in time. So that order got filled. Maybe they sold it immediately as soon as it popped up, made a nice $70 per share. Awesome, nice job for them, right? But let's check out and see what's going on with, hello, David. I am still a fan. And also wanted to show you guys the limits. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, I do these every day. I have been posting them lately. If it's a strong up day, I usually don't post the limits for the limit down halts. So if we were to go into a crash scenario, right? If we actually dropped down to that price, we would have halted, right? And it would have stopped. So when we go below 409 and 409.05. So I'm going to zoom in over here. Hold on, bear with me. I want to make it easier for you guys to see. Maybe I made it too big. Maybe I went too far over. Bear with me, bear with me. We'll get it. There we go, full screen. All right, so based on the close price, if we had a drawdown and we went down to 409.05, we would have a 15-minute halt. This is a volatility halt on the indexes. So I do prep this for the indexes every day. The next level down would be 382.66. So perfect day to talk about it with that little mini flash crash scenario on the SPY. But really, in reality, we wouldn't go down there without halting, right? We would have halts that would happen. So just look up Investopedia, limit down halts for the indexes. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I do put this out there. It's Airplane Jane. Hey, Terry. And let's look at the list for today. So I do have my list, right? I had I'll leave it big so you guys can see it. So we had the SPY below 431.50. Hey, Troy. A nice little short over there. Let's move this over here a bit. See, so 431.50. Yeah, we came down. And this is actually, this blue line is going to be the anchored volume weighted average price from 1 year ago. So it's really cool that we are hitting that volume weighted average price from January 25th, 2021. So if we go below this, everything that was bought, then hey, we're likely going to see a bit more of a drawdown. Now remember that tomorrow we do have FOMC meeting. Right, today on our announcements, always good to check out forexfactory.com. Why isn't it going there? It's really weird. Okay, leave that. Yeah, hold on. for some reason, it didn't want me to move this screen, even though it was asking me on another one. So today we had consumer confidence a little bit higher than expected, but Richmond manufacturing much lower than expected. Expected 14 and received an 8. Is it blurry for you guys on your screen? I don't know why it looks a little blurry to me, so I'm curious if it's blurry on your end too. Let me know. And then tomorrow, we look at tomorrow. So we have a lot of red folders. Red folders mean volatility. So get ready. Today could be that positioning day that the really big guys are getting ready for tomorrow's activity. So we did have a little bit of movement this morning earlier on. Might be a sleepy day until about 2 o'clock tomorrow. We might see more positioning happening going into tomorrow. So keep that in mind. We have the Bank of Canada press conference at 11 a.m., Bank of Canada monetary policy rate, overnight rate, all of those announcements come out tomorrow morning, crude inventory, oil, and then we have the Fed funds rate. Are they going to change it? Are they going to talk about tapering? That's probably going to come out at 2 o'clock, and then they have a press conference at 2:30. So expect some volatility tomorrow afternoon. Could be sleepy until then. And we could just see a whole lot of positioning and sideways action. So you can see today we are sort of sideways going in between 428, we'll call this 429 and 433. So looking at that $4 price range on the day that we've just been going sideways, maybe bigger positioning, but we are below the averages. So maybe downward trend, right? And we had that flash crash, mini flash crash. So our levels that I had to watch for NASDAQ, 354 and 344.80. Yep, nice little short trades there. And the Russell as well, 197.80. We had a nice little move down to 194.50. So a bigger move earlier in the morning. And you can see we are hitting a trend line on the 24-hour and today as well. So maybe there's a little bit of buying that's going on there, but we're still just sort of hovering around. So is everything priced in as to what FOMC is going to say tomorrow? It could be. It could be that they are loading up down here, ready to pop the market. And we're also going to talk about Tesla because I did post out Tesla. Musk is the largest buyer of Tesla. He's added 33 million over the past 2 years, 33 million shares. That's a lot of shares of Tesla. And in seeing that, we've seen some other big, let's see if I have Whale Wisdom open. I'll open it up in the background back here. Whale Wisdom. And we might be setting up for a big move on Tesla. We did see, we'll look at the chart in just a second. So let me get back over here to the screen. Okay, so Dow Jones, we talked about that. Let's go and jump to Tesla really quickly. I have it down here. So it was on my list for potential shorts today as well. Let's move it over here. So we have one, make it a little smaller here. We can fit it all over here. It's still too big. All right. So I said Tesla, hey, if we go below 897, a short above 915, a nice long position. But we did have a nice 15-point move right on up to the 161 EMA. But look over here. I have drawn on some fibs, right? I drew some fibs onto my chart, and we are hitting a 50% retracement. This is our second time hitting it, right? We had a little drawdown yesterday, but we closed above it. And we also hit the 161 EMA, which is kind of like a Fibonacci EMA, right? And look at this. So last year I gave a projected target, February 2nd, of 1347, and now 1365. So I'm not saying, hey, it's going there tomorrow. No. In fact, it's just a target, right? I could be completely wrong on earnings. But when we look at our last earnings announcement, so let's put a vertical line right here. So vertical line from the earnings announcement, and we do a measured move. So after earnings, in 8 trading days, right, we moved 43% from earnings. So for fun, when is earnings? right? Earnings is the 26th. That would be tomorrow after hours, right? So this, let's see, this earnings date was after hours on the 20th. All right, so we'll go from the 26th tomorrow and we'll go up 42%. Look at that. Isn't that pretty cool? That's pretty much my old target. And that's in 5 days. Let's see, 8 trading days. Okay, so potentially 400-point move in 8 trading days from where we are. If we were to close here, we could see that 42% move, right? In the next week and a half of 400 points up to 1,300. So I don't know what those options are looking like. Total, in my opinion, if you put on a trade going into earnings, 100% risk involved, in my opinion, higher premium, and it could go the exact opposite direction. You could be completely wrong, right? Could be completely wrong. Hey, maybe they're shutting down Chinese production. There's a lawsuit, there's a fire, there's a problem with self-driving. It could be anything, right? And so we don't know what it is, but looking back in the past, right? Looking at past performance. When we came down to the 200 EMA right here, which is what we touched there, how long did it take for us to have that 40% move? That was after earnings, even though it was a positive earnings, and that was April. July. Let's go back and see what we did last. So here we go. Last January, earnings were not as good. So maybe it's going to crash. Maybe we're going to go the opposite direction, right? It's total gamble because you don't know how the market's going to react. Seeing that we had potentially a buying wick over here. Now, when we look at Tesla, either way, whatever it does, let's also look at the other majors, right? So these are the holdings, ETF.com, SPY. Apple is 6%. Okay, so let's check out Apple, 157, 160. Let's go back over here. Let's look at Apple, because these are going to be the major stocks that are going to affect the indexes. When is Apple's earnings? The 27th. So that's going to be Thursday night, right after hours. So maybe we're going to have maybe this is positioning as well. Maybe we're going to see that all of this was to buy at a discount or positive earnings to shoot it up. Right? We're almost at the 161 right there. That would be 153.72. So let's look. Okay, next one, Microsoft. Check out Microsoft. Also happens to be down today as well. Somebody going like bargain shopping. This is lower than the 161 and the 200 EMA, right? But we have this trend line that I set up. Let's see, what is that trend line? Where did that trend line come from? So this is a bit of a wedge that we were riding this trend line all through 2020, right? And we came back to it and tested it. So now we've discounted back to a trend from 2020 on Microsoft, and we had a nice little bounce, maybe a bit of seller's exhaustion right here with the buying wick, but we're still down on the day. We are also hitting a support level right here from the past, 286.54. We're just below it. Are we going to close above that? And when is our earnings? Tonight after hours. So we might see that we're going to have a pop into tomorrow. And we might see that we see the SPY pop really high, even though we had that weird flash crash this morning. So with earnings, you never know. There's a lot of overnight volatility, and we might see a pop, right? Maybe we're going to see that Microsoft is going to pop. Let's see, what do we do in earnings? Last two earnings, this one it pulled draw down a little bit, but we were in an upward trend. This one we were in an upward trend too, and we still continue that move. So maybe we're going to see that we're going to bounce up to 313. We'll find 50-point move to the upside on Microsoft. I'm not saying it's going there. I'm just looking at the chart and saying maybe that's going to be a resistance that's going to be tested, and maybe we're going to pop up there. Also looking right here, if we look 313, that was a resistance here and then a support, and we've got the 24 EMA right here. So maybe it's going to pop there. If it pops there and we have Apple pop and we have Tesla pop, we could very well see, we could very well see, not SPU, SPY, that we have a pop in the indexes, not Snap. But maybe we're going to have a pop on the indexes up to like 457, right? Or maybe it's going to come up here to this trend line over here. Maybe we're going to pop up to 453. I don't know, right? Okay, let's, so I did these really quickly. We'll just look at so Citigroup bounced a little bit more on the list today. It had big wick and we moved up to the 4 EMA right there. Let's check out UBS. So UBS is kind of going sideways, a little drop, but a lot of these stocks are sort of going sideways. IBM, very big into quantum computing, had earnings after hours yesterday and still range bound. However, we could see that this really moves up higher. Definitely look up IBM and ISO 20022, the standard. This is where our banking system is going. So IBM is likely part of that banking system. And feels like Musk is on that way to pushing it with all of his Starlink satellites too. He's updating all of the satellites, everything like that for internet around the world. So we might see that Comcast really gets hit hard because we have Starlink that's providing internet. And we have DWAC. Somebody was just asking me about DWAC, David. Yeah, let's look at DWAC. So David, I do still like DWAC. We'll get through to my list and finish everything up. Above 69, that is a strong resistance level sorry, 89, that I'm watching to see if it's broken, right? Here's our, let's do this for our volume. Hey, as long as we're hanging out up above 52.50, we'll call it, still like it bullish, right? Because that's where the bulk of all of this volume was. 52.50, pull it back a little bit further. Let's still see, yeah, 52.50. Really, if we go all the way back to our pop, where is that volume? All the way down here. So really big volume down below at 14.80. So as long as it stays above $15, yeah, like it. Let's pull it back to over here. Right there. So looking at this, we are above the anchored volume weighted average price from our big spike day. That's at 63.20. We tested it today. We tested the 24 EMA on the daily chart. And let's draw a little fib action here. Here to here. Came down to that 50%. Even if it came down to 57.25, I'd still like it for a potential move up higher. They are due to have the Truth Social go out February 21st. I've heard that they were asking, I think I saw it on Twitter, that they were asking influencers to reserve their spots now. So if you want a Truth Social handle, head on over there, maybe reserve it. I don't know, haven't checked it out, but check it out, right? See if you're interested in that. Okay, let's look at BP. So BP oil numbers are coming out tomorrow. With inflation, I would anticipate a bigger spike and bigger move into oil stocks, potentially looking at oil all the way up to $100. So looking for that move. We did have a bit of a down week because oil numbers were higher. Oil supplies were higher than the draw last week, and it resulted in a bit of a downward turn this week. If those numbers increase, we'll likely see that these stocks increase as well with the cost of fuel. Vale, sort of range bound today, not doing too much of anything, but we went up, we tested the moving averages, pulled back, had higher than normal volume and a bit of a buying wick here. So curious to see if we are going to break out of this downward trend. So have a bit of a 1, 2 big move. Maybe we'll head up to $19 up here, the resistance over there. All right, Nokia had some bigger volume this morning, had a big buying wick right at the bottom yesterday. Most stocks did. So looking to see, is this going to break out and break out of this extreme downward trend? Look at the past over here, right? We had a bit of a buying wick, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to the 15 EMA over here, 581. Not a whole lot of movement, but just looking at how it repeats itself, a lower price stock. Ericsson also had earnings today, really gapped up high, came back. Look, we tested this moving average as support, also the high, and bounced. Are we going to say that this is now? We're up above this, and we're going to repeat history and continue to move higher. Look, when was the last time that we broke out above and moved higher? How long was this run? All the way back from May of 2020. Well, we're at January, so one earnings date earlier. However, we could see that we have a nice move up. How long was this run, and how much of a profit from the time that it pulled back down to it? 50% profit in 209 months. All right. So let's look at Roblox. Roblox Corporation looking oversold right now, very oversold, almost testing the overall lows of the year. That was yesterday. So I'd be careful in catching a falling knife. I would look for this more to reverse, right? You see buying wicks. We had the buying wick yesterday. However, we are moving down into that candle. So this is a bear doji sandwich to me, right? Long-legged doji, but still a bear doji sandwich, bearish scenario. Until we can come back up and break above that doji with the higher volume, looking bearish to me. All right, and let's check out Nvidia. And then I'm going to head out. I'm going to go get my hair done. That's why it's up. My silver fox streak will be going away. All right. So over here, we have just gone sort of sideways for Nvidia today. Same scenario. We have that big, looks like buying wick, seller's exhaustion, but I would like to see it move back up above here, 235. Plus, we have this trend line that was support for a while. Now this could be potentially acting as resistance. So keep that in mind for Nvidia. That patience trade, yes, everybody always wants to get in the bottom and get out at the top, but just go for that bulk of the move, the meat of the sandwich, that burger, right? If you eat meat. I've been cutting back and feel amazing actually just eating veggies. So I don't know if it's in the cards for you, try it. I didn't think I'd want to be vegetarian, but now that I eat less meat, I feel amazing. And then when I eat meat, I'm like, ugh, slows me down. All right. Any other questions that you guys have? You guys want to check out cryptos? Let's look at my crypto list really quickly. Haven't really checked it today. And let's do this. All right. So Solana is bouncing. Solana really dropped. I thought it was really going to hold the 135 level, pulled back and really pulled back in price value. But you see how it's same sort of scenario. Try not to catch it. Wait until it's moving to the upside. IOTA is moving up today. I know someone had asked me, oh, I want to get an algo at 130. Well, I hope that they didn't because it was still looking like it moved down. So IOTA looks like it's put in a bit of a bottom, once 68 cents over there. Dogecoin. Sounds good, Troy. Not synthetic, though. Don't go for the Beyond Burger, in my opinion, okay? Beyond Burger, too many chemicals in there. Doge looks like maybe it's found a bit of a bottom, too. We're not that far away from where it broke out. I got in at 6.5 cents last year. That was back in March, April. 6.5 cents. Yep. And then it shot up and had a nice run to it. So are we going to hold this? And now you see that we had this trend line. It was resistance. Now it's somewhat acting as support on the way down, but we need to break out up above here. 20 cents, up above 20 cents with some volume, like Dogecoin for another big run. All right, XDC. This should be used with derivatives in the future. And so this is a financial instrument tool. So looking at that, really inexpensive entry back here at 0.029. So looking to see, we have had some downward movement, just like all cryptos. So will this continue with Bitcoin in the downward motion? If we stay below 30 39,000, below that 40,000 point, I'm still bearish on Bitcoin. I was checking it up on my computer up there. And Ethereum too. Ethereum, if we stay below that 2520 level, watch out, right? Dollar, I have the dollar thrown on here just to see what's going on with the dollar price action. We had a big bounce right here, and we're up sort of in consolidation, congestion up there where we sort of went sideways. So if somebody was selling the dollar, right? If they were selling the dollar and I turned it to a weekly chart, right? We had this downward price action. Let's draw a channel. So they had this downward price action right here, and then we've broken out of that. We haven't broken up above the week's resistance yet. 96.45, really 96.60. I would say, okay, we actually have a cup and handle, right? We have a cup and handle formation on the dollar. So you see it over here? Here's our handle and then breakout. So knowing what I know about the dollar though, I wouldn't be personally buying into the dollar. I would still look for physical assets, silver, gold, copper even, homes, cars, right? With the shortage of chips, used cars are actually making a lot of money. And I didn't even know that's a thing. People buy cars and sell them used, and they make money on them. I didn't even know that. Somebody told me about that. So let's look at this on the 24-hour chart as well. That, hey, we could widen this a bit if we put this up here. So then it looks like really on the daily chart, it just broke out over here. And we have a bit of selling. So is this going to come right back down? Is this anticipated move just before the Fed, right? How is that going to affect gold and silver, everything like that? We shall see. Baby Doge is a little toy, like a little fun one I watch, but XLM, definitely like XLM here. It does look like it's basing, I would say, looking at 19 cents as a support. If I were to get into this, I would say, hey, if we have a daily close below 19 cents, I would get out. But other than that, I've been doing a lot of research on the Stellar XLM network and putting together an amazing workshop on that. So you guys will have to check that out. But it's just like, the more I find, it's just amazing what I have found that's running on this network. It's not just the coin. It is a lot of stuff that is on the network. And of course, XLM is the underlying coin that makes it all happen. Then Algo as well. So I don't know who it was that said they wanted to buy it at 130, but ouch, we've had a big drawdown. And it looks like maybe it wants to come back and test down here, down to 67 cents. We shall see. But the market knows where it's going to go, right? XRP. XRP has had a bit of a drawdown like XLM. It does look like we've had some bigger volume coming into it. We're sort of going sideways here. I would watch to see the low of this candle, 55 cents, 54 cents. If we have a close below there, you can see we have buying wicks, people that have bought it up when it hit there. Keep that in mind. Also like NEEM, and they're doing a very similar chart pattern, right? And Cardano, ADA. Last one on there on the crypto, similar pattern, a little bit weaker today, but we still had buying power coming into it. So seeing that we might be having some support happen over here, when we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin looks a bit stronger than these. Hold on, let's see. Where's my Bitcoin? There we go. So when we look at Bitcoin on the daily, it seems like we have had a bigger move to the upside right here. If we break below 20, you can see this is where I have that 39,000. If we stay below 40, okay, I think we're more bearish because we still have to have a lot of upward pressure. There was a lot of resistance over here. It was support and then flipped to be resistance. That's how it works, right? So looking to see, are we going to be able to overtake that? Until that point, Just if I was in Bitcoin, I would be sitting on the sidelines in cash, or I'd stake it somewhere, or not stake it, excuse me, put it in another more reputable crypto for balance time there. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I want to always remind you, I have had people messaging me on Twitter. These are my official handles. So I do not message people on WhatsApp. I do not message people on Instagram. I will respond to messages if you guys message me, but I'm not going to go out soliciting you for money to trade your Bitcoin or anything like that. I know that they are saying Mrs. Jane on YouTube, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, and trying to solicit people that way. Unfortunately, there are bots that I do not run that put comments on my YouTube page. So please do not become a victim to these scammers. Be aware, be knowledgeable, and use proper risk management, right? Do your due diligence with everything in life. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Carpe profit, seize those profits one trade at a time.